Oh, really? They can let you in? Okay, bye-bye.
All right, good afternoon, everyone. Let me see if I can get the video working. There we go. All right, good afternoon, everyone. Apologize for the delay. Let's get started. This is the Fulton County State Court expedited accusation calendar. These are misdemeanor cases in which individuals were recently arrested and booked at the Fulton County Jail. Soon after that, the cases have been formally accused by the prosecutor. Hence, this would be the defendant's initial appearance before a state court judicial officer. I will let you know what is your accusation number, what are the charges brought against you. Advise you of your right to remain silent and that appoint counsel to represent you if you cannot afford one. Please remember that if you are a defendant charged with one or more misdemeanor offenses, you do have a right to remain silent. Anything you choose to say during the course of this recorded and live stream proceeding, your statements can and will be used against you in the treatment of your case. You have a right to an attorney if you cannot afford one. One of our attorneys from the Public Defender's Office or the Conflict Defense List will be representing you. So let's begin with courtroom 2. Who do we have?
This is going to be position 1, Belton.
Okay.
It's my understanding we have a breakout for this one.
Oh, is that true? Miss Kim, Miss Falk?
Ms. Gant, I did request a breakout, Your Honor.
All right, Miss Falk, did you request a breakout?
No, Your Honor, PD Gant did in the chat at the beginning of court.
But I guess we're not then. Is that correct, Ms. Gant?
We
No.
are requesting a breakout.
You
The
are
state doesn't have
requesting.
Yes.
right. The state doesn't have an objection to a breakout, Your Honor.
All right, so Francois, we're going to put that off till we address the other cases.
And also, Your Honor, the reset date for the SAP calendar is March the 9th.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
Position 9, Warner.
This is Treshawn Warner, accused of theft by taking from October 1st, 2022. Case number 23 CR 001035J. Mr. Warner, you've been advised of your right to remain silent. Your attorney is Miss Kim.
Yes.
Any priors, Mr. Howell?
7 total. Last arrest was back in June. Failure to appear out of Clayton County. It was for a suspended license.
All right, thank you. Miss Lewis, yes, good morning, good afternoon. Okay. I've read the warrant. Does he live with this Patricia Green at Donnelly Hollowell?
No, Your Honor, he doesn't. Just to give you a couple of facts, this incident occurred October 1st at 2748 Donnelly Hollowell Parkway, apartment 425. Officers responded to this location and met with Ms. Green. Ms. Green stated that on the previous day, she allowed her grandson, Treshawn Warner, to use her cell phone. Green stated that she went into another room, and when she came back, Warner had left with the phone, which is approximate value about $30. Your Honor, the state is recommending a $1,000 surety bond, no alcohol, drugs, or weapons, no further contact, and to stay away from that location. And I'm not sure if Ms. Green is on the line, but if she is, we'd like to sound for the appropriate time.
Patricia Green, are you present? Patricia Green. I have someone called C5L Max. No one. All right. Miss Kim?
Yes, Your Honor. Mr. Warner is 26 years old, and he is hurt by this case because Patricia Green is a grandmother, and he was kind of hoping she could have just easily called him and requested where he put the phone, and he could have just gone there and find it for her. And also $30, my client is happy to pay back. He just feels like maybe auntie was kind of like provoking grandmother to make a prosecution for this. he feels very, very hurt, Your Honor. But anyway, he is working as an HVAC technician, and he graduated from high school successfully. And he's trying to do, he's got his job, working all the time, and he has his own separate place. He stays with his friend at Peachtree Street. So we do have a solid mailing address for him, and we would like to request for a signature on bond for this case. Thank you.
$1,500 signature bond for pretrial services. No further contact with Patricia Green to stay away from the entire complex at 2748 Donald Lee Hollowell Parkway. And when he reports to pretrial, he must update his current address and phone number and email. And upon within 30 days of being released from jail, he has to come down to the courthouse and update us with his current address, phone number, and email. Like I said, no contact with Patricia Green. That means he cannot communicate with her in person, through a third party, through a phone, computer, or on social media. Next court date will be further notice to his current address. Thank you.
Thank you.
Position 7, Richardson.
This is 23 CR 001031E. Mr. Richardson is accused of battery at a public transit vehicle or station from December 17, 2022, involving one Jessica Evans. Mr. Richardson, you've been advised of your right to remain silent, and your attorney is Miss Kim.
You ready?
Yes, sir.
16 total. He got an open simple battery in state court, Superior Court. It's 21 CP 196879, and 2 counts of battery, 21 CP 196880. On
I'm
probation
sorry,
for
I didn't get 21 CP,
196880.
21 CP, something, 880.
196880.
Okay, all right. So 2 open Superior Court cases.
And he's on probation for ag assault. That's 21 SC 178140.
All right, thank you. Mr.
That's all
Rogers,
you want?
no, that's all I need. Thank you.
Okay.
Mr. Rogers, I've read the warrant. This occurred on December 17th at the parking lot of Lakewood Motor Station. What's your bond recommendation?
Yes, Your Honor. Just to put a few facts on the record, it did occur on December 17th of 2022 at the location of 2020 Lee Street Southwest in Atlanta. That's a Lakewood Motor Station. In the parking lot, the defendant did punch the victim, Jessica Evans, causing visible lacerations to her lip. Based on his history, we're recommending a $6,000 surety bond. Stay away from Jessica Evans. No further contact, no alcohol, drugs, or weapons. We would also appreciate if the court sounds for Ms. Evans at the appropriate time. Nothing further, Your Honor.
Thank you. Miss Evans, Jessica Evans. No, all right. Miss Kim?
Yes, Mr. Richardson is 37 years old. He was born and raised here in Georgia, and he has been working as a cook at Chick-fil-A, and he loves his job right now. He got out of the jail for that aggravated assault not that long ago, and he has been doing his best to be a productive citizen. And Your Honor, he has not had any contact with Jessica Evans for the last 6 months. He denies the allegations, and he graduated from high school. We would like to request for signature on bond for this case. If Your Honor is not inclined to give him a signature on bond because of the previous cases, we would like to request for maximum 1,000. Thank you.
Bond is set at 3,000. It is a surety bond. Next court date is March 9. No further contact with Jessica Evans. Stay away from all motor property, and no illegal drugs, no alcohol, no weapons.
Thank you.
Position 5, Lockhart.
This is State versus Akeem Rasad Lockhart, 23 CR 001030, 001030C. Mr. Lockhart was had an outstanding warrant from January 22nd, 2023 regarding a traffic stop, and he's now charged with no automobile insurance and willful obstruction of a law enforcement officer. Mr. Lockhart, you've been advised of your right to remain silent, and your attorney is going to be Ms. Gant. Any other priors, Mr.
Third
How-
arrest. This is third. Last arrest was in September, failed to appear, but out of Sandy Springs, where the first arrest came from, the suspended license and suspended registration. This was SOB jail recommendation.
Okay, Miss Lewis.
Yes, Your Honor. This incident occurred on January 22nd at the intersection of Cascade Road and I-285 entrance ramp. Officers dispatched to a collision that occurred at that ramp. Once officers arrived, the vehicle, once they ran their tags, showed no valid insurance. The officer spoke with Mr. Lockhart about his insurance status. Lockhart stated that he did have insurance, but was not able to prove so. Once the officer went back to his vehicle to write the citation, the officer asked for his keys, to which Lockhart refused, and then the officer removed the keys from his car. Lockhart then produced another key, jumped back in his truck, and fled the scene. Your Honor, for this reason, as well as the other FTEs that are on his record, the state is recommending a $1,500 surety bond. That's $500 on count 1 and $1,000 on count 2. No alcohol, drugs, or weapons, and no driving without a valid insurance. Nothing further.
Ms. Gant.
Thank you, Your Honor. Mr. Akeem Lockhart is 26 years old. He has been in the Atlanta, Georgia area his entire life. He is the proud father of 2 children, ages 1 and 3. He is the primary caretaker and is not receiving any child support. Mr. Lockhart completed high school, and at this time, Your Honor, he is unemployed and has been so since January of 2023. My client denies the allegations. He states that he does in fact have insurance and can prove such. And he also states that on the day of this allegation, he and his family had been involved in an accident. I am requesting a signature bond through the jail, as it appears that he is qualified according to pretrial services. This is a non-violent offense, and my client informs me regarding the FTA in 2022 that he had reached out to the clerk because he was ill. Nothing further, Your Honor. Thank you.
On the no insurance is a $1,000 signature bond through the jail. No driving unless he has a valid driver's license, adequate insurance, and proper registration. On the obstructions, a $1,000 surety. Next court date is March 9th. So this is a $2,000 split bond. Reset date is March 9th. Same conditions. Thank you.
Position 6, Oni.
Mr. Ade Demola, Oni. This is accusation number 23, CR 001037G. Mr. Oni has been accused of willful obstruction of a law enforcement officer. Next court date, from a February 8th, 2023 incident. Mr. Oni, you've been advised of your right to remain silent. Your attorney is Ms. Kim. Any priors, Mr. Howard?
I see 11 cycles. Last arrest was 2010 hit and run conviction.
All right, thank you. Mr. Rogers, I do understand this is a issue with a missing laptop belonging to an alleged neighbor. What's your bond recommendation?
Yes, Your Honor. Just put a few facts on the record. On January the 31st of 2023, officers arrived to 3201 Lexington Farms Drive in Alpharetta. They spoke with the reporting party, Ms. Ali. She reported that her laptop had been stolen. Her employer had sent her a laptop. She had relocated from apartment 3201 to 4206 within the same complex. The laptop was sent to her old apartment 3201. Mr. Oni, the defendant, he occupies 3201 now. His teenage son had went and secured the laptop. He received a text that a package was in the mailroom. He was caught on camera retrieving that package. Police made contact with Mr. Oni, and Mr. Oni gave false information. He would not provide his son's name. He told the police that his son did not live with him, that he lived with the mother. Police then reached out to the mother. She informed them that she had not seen her son since Christmas and that he did live with his father, Mr. Oni. She also provided the school that the child went to. Police reported to the school, and they spoke with his teenage son, who also reported that he did live with his dad, that he did secure that laptop. And for those reasons, Mr. Oni was charged with obstruction. The state is recommending a $3,000 signature bond through pretrial services. No alcohol, drugs, or weapons while out on bond. Nothing further, Your Honor.
Thank you. Mr. Oni, I'm going to grant you a $1,500 signature bond through the jail. And this is an open, active, pending case against you. Your next court date will be sent to you at your address. Please be mindful that at the present time, if you get arrested again, this signature bond can be converted to a cash bond or a surety bond. Make sure your address, and your contact information are all current with the court. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, next case, please, Ms. Deputy Francois.
Position 4, Houston.
This is State versus Corey Leon Houston. Case number 23 CR 001032J, accused of 2 counts of terroristic threats. And 1 count of willful obstruction of an officer. This is from a February 22nd, 2023 incident. Mr. Houston, you've been advised of your right to remain silent, and your attorney is presently Ms. Gant. Mr. Howard, how many priors, if any?
About 26. He got an open trespass in the cab, also open battery DV in the cab county, 2021. And another open battery DV.
All in the cab?
Yes.
Okay.
That probation violation for false imprisonment, those from 2020. Hold on. I see a 2020. Okay, that's the one that's open too. 2019 probation, disorderly conduct conviction, 2019. 2018, another probation violation. He was convicted for the false imprisonment in 2016. It was he had a kidnapping. It was not presented to a grand jury. Robbery was not pros.
That's good. Thank you. Ms. Lewis?
Yes, Your Honor. This incident occurred on February 22nd at 2900 Landrum Drive Southwest. Officers responded to a dispute call and met with Geraldine Clark. Clark stated that her son, Mr. Houston, and nephew, Anthony Thomas, were arguing, and she asked her son, Houston, to leave before a fight broke out. Officers then spoke with Mr. Houston, who was still at the residence, and asked him to leave the premises as he did not live there. Houston stated the only way he would leave is if he was going to jail. Officers explained that he currently wasn't under arrest, but he did need to leave the premises. While walking out towards the patrol car, Houston stated, "I will go back in there and, excuse language, fuck them up."
Okay.
Houston then began walking back to the apartment unit and was advised by the officers to stop. However, Houston continued walking and then started banging on the door. When the officer attempted to grab his arm, he pulled away. Another unit arrived, a taser was presented, and they finally were able to subdue Mr. Houston. Your Honor, for this reason, as well as his history, the state is recommending a $3,500 surety bond. That's $1,500 on both counts of terroristic threats, $500 in the willful obstruction, to stay away from this location, no further contact, and no alcohol, drugs, or weapons. Nothing further, Your Honor.
All right. And there was one warrant for the terroristic threats. Have you all split it up because of 2 alleged victims?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. All right. Ms. Gant?
Thank you, Yana. Corey Houston is 46 years old. He has been in the Atlanta, Georgia area since 2005. He does not have any family to assist with bond. Mr. Houston completed 9th grade, and at this time he is unemployed. He's disabled and has been disabled since 1992. He strongly denies the allegations. He is presumed innocent. I am requesting a signature bond on Mr. Houston's behalf. He does not have the means to pay anything. Any bond would be akin to no bond. We are unopposed to the no contact and stay away orders, but would ask for a one-time law enforcement escort so that Mr. Houston may retrieve any belongings at that residence or at the incident location.
Okay. On each count of the terroristic threats is $1,500 and the willful obstruction is $1,000. That's a total bond of $4,000. That is a surety bond. To have no contact with Geraldine Clark and Anthony Thomas, no in-person or third-party communication, and no cell phone or phone communication, or even through a computer or social media. He is to stay 200 yards away from 2900 Landrum Drive in Southwest Atlanta, the entire location. If it's an apartment complex, then the entire apartment complex. No illegal drugs, no weapons, no firearms, and no alcohol. Next court date is going to be March 9th. Thank you.
Judge Long,
Yes.
would Your Honor order a one-time law enforcement escort to retrieve any belongings?
No. Mm-mm. He doesn't live there. He said so. The allegation is he's admitted so much so to the officer. Thank you. Next case.
Position 3, Cook.
Leonardo Cook has got a battery charge from August 10th, 2022. Case number 23CR001039F. Mr. Cook, you've been advised of your right to remain silent, and your attorney is going to be Ms. Wanda Gant. Any priors, Mr. Tucson?
This is 12th arrest. He don't have any violence in the last 20 years at least. He
Okay.
got some, but it's real old. He got a hold out of Clayton County for larceny.
I've got a Rabun County hold. Do you have a Clayton County hold as well?
So Clayton. Hold on. You know what? They got to confuse. It's Clayton, Georgia. So yeah, they
Okay.
put Clayton County on the bond thing.
No problem. Okay, thank you. Ms. Lewis?
Yes, Your Honor. This incident occurred on August 10th, 2022 at 4900 Delano Road, or excuse me, Delano. Officers responded to an assault call at this location and met with Lindsay Peak. Her name is spelled Lindcey. Peak stated that she came over to her boyfriend, Mr. Cook's house, and they got into an argument that turned very physical. Peak stated that as she attempted to leave, Cook said, "You better not slam my door, and if you leave, I will beat your ass." Peak slammed the door as she walked out the house, and Cook then ran behind her and struck her with a closed fist on the right side of her face. Cook also grabbed Peak by the neck, causing lacerations on the right side of her neck and the bottom of her lip. Your Honor, for this reason, the state is recommending a $3,000 surety bond, no alcohol, drugs, or weapons, to stay away from this location, and no further contact with Ms. Peak. I'm not sure if she's on the line, but we would like to sound for her at the appropriate time, Your Honor. Nothing further.
Lindsay Park? I've got a Park. So Lindsay Park or Lindsay Peak? No. And just to clarify, the Delano Road, is that Mr. Cook's residence, or is that Miss Parks or Miss Peaks? Because we've got, I'm not sure where this was at his place, right?
Yes, let me double check for you, Your Honor. I believe it is his apartment
Okay.
or his home.
Miss Gant?
Yes, Your Honor. Leonardo Clark is 48 years old. He has been in the Atlanta, Georgia area his entire life. He is the proud father of 3 children, ages 3, 24, and 25. Mr. Cook completed high school. He also is currently employed as a maintenance tech. He has been in this position for 7 years. And Your Honor, the incident location is my client's residence and also place of employment. He states that he is the maintenance tech at that apartment complex. He strongly denies the allegations. He states that the complaining witness, Ms. Peak, actually fell down the stairs, and that's why she has the injuries that she has. My client does not have any prior convictions for violence, or at least that were brought before the court within the last 20 years. Therefore, I'm requesting a signature bond on Mr. Cook's behalf. We are unopposed to the no contact order. However, we would ask that Your Honor not issue a stay away from my client's place of residence and employment. Thank you.
The bond is set at $2,000. It's a signature bond through pretrial services. Mr. Cook will report to pretrial once a month. He is to have no further contact with Lindsay Peak or Park. I'm just going by the warrant. It's got a very LINDCEYPARK. No illegal drugs, no alcohol, no weapons and firearms, and I don't have a stay away since the Delano Road is his location. However, he can only report to pretrial once he resolves that Rabun County hold. So I don't know if that's a traffic matter that he would need to take care of from where he's located presently. Thank you.
Your Honor, would you consider adding on a one-day anger awareness?
Oh, yes, and a one-day anger awareness program through pretrial. Yes, thank you.
Position 11, Williams.
This is State versus Timothy O'Neill Williams, 23 CR 001036Y. Mr. Williams is accused of terroristic threats and acts against one Fulton County Marshal Hollis on February 22nd, 2023. Mr. Williams, you've been advised of your right to remain silent, and your attorney is Miss Kim. Miss Kim, have you met Deputy Hollis?
Not yet, Your Honor.
Oh, my goodness. Okay, he's about 3 feet taller than I am. So just to give you an idea. All right. Okay. Mr. Howard, what's any priors with regards to Mr. Williams?
I got a first arrest.
Okay. Mr. Rogers, any, I understand this was during the process of a marshal facilitated eviction. So I've read the warrant, and I'm ready just to hear your bond recommendations.
Your Honor, if you would just allow me to just place a few facts on the record.
Sure.
On Wednesday, February 22nd of 2023, marshals arrived to 3164 Cushman Circle Southwest in Atlanta to execute an eviction on Mr. Timothy O'Neill Williams. While the officers were there, they told him Mr. Williams answered the door, and they informed him that he had to step outside while the eviction staff come in and move his things out. He was not allowed to pack anything up. That irritated the defendant somewhat, and he stated to the officer, "Excuse my language, I'll beat your ass."
Yeah, I use those words. I've read the warrant.
Okay. And then he said, "I'll punch you in the face." He took a fighting stance and clenched his fist. We're recommending a $1,500 surety bond, no alcohol, drugs, or weapons. Nothing further, Your Honor.
All right. Mr. Williams, your bond is going to be set at $3,000. It's going to be a signature bond through pretrial services. You'll report to pretrial once a month. You are not to return to the location where the eviction took place. And Mr. Rogers, if you could assist me with that, I didn't write it down. Or if Ms. Bridgewater has it.
It is 3164 Cushman Circle.
Oh, that's right. Okay. All right, Mr. Williams, you have to stay away from that location. You're to have no violent contact with Deputy Hollis of the Fulton County Marshal's Department. And you are to report to court. Once you're released on your signature bond, you are to update us with your new address within 30 days. So we can send you notice of when to show up in court. Thank you.
Judge Law, I stepped away from the desk. What was the bond amount, please?
3,000 signature bond through pretrial. If he violates the conditions or if he gets arrested again, he would have to come back to jail with $3,000.
That's prejudice.
Yeah.
Position 12, Woods.
Tracy Edwards Woods Jr. is accused of battery domestic violence from May 17th, 2022 in case number 23 CR 001038F. Mr. Woods, you've been advised of your right to remain silent. Your attorney is Ms. Kim. Mr. Tucson, any priors?
This is 6th arrest. He was arrested a week ago in Cobb for possession of cocaine. That appears to be open. He don't have any violence. He got theft by receiving, theft by taking conviction. 2019.
Okay,
Yeah, that's
and 29 years old, just turned 29. Okay. Mr. Rogers?
Yes, on May 17th of 2022, officers were dispatched to 3150 Middleton Road. Upon arrival, they spoke with Jasmine Cullins, last name Cullins,
Mhm.
stated that she had been battered by her boyfriend, Mr. Tracy Woods Jr. She stated that they were in the parking lot of the West End Mall located at 850 Oak Street, and they were involved in an argument, and Mr. Woods took her phone. She tried to retrieve the phone from Mr. Woods. He then pushed her to the ground. She got off of the ground and tried to retrieve the phone again. He pushed her to the ground again, resulting in bruising to her arm. She then left the scene and called police. She is on the Zoom today, Your Honor. We asked you sound for at the appropriate time. Our bond recommendation is $4,000 surety bond, a stay away order from Ms. Cullins, and no further contact, as well as a no alcohol, drugs, or weapons. This did happen while the victim was pregnant, so it is extremely concerning. Nothing further.
We all didn't charge it as such.
We gathered this information after we accused the case.
Okay, all right. Ms. Jasmine Collins, if you are present and if you want to testify or let us know anything about the case, please unmute yourself and start your video.
Hi, hi, you can hear me?
I can hear you, but I can't see you. You need to go into a place with better lighting.
Okay, let me walk. to the
Maybe
back.
if you turn the other way and face the window.
I'm finna walk in my bathroom. I have better light.
There we go. All right. Ms. Collins, if you'd like to add to this case, I need to place you under oath.
Okay,
Raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear and affirm the testimony you provide will be the truth to the best of your knowledge?
yes,
All right. Ms. Collins, your full name is Jasmine Collins?
yeah, Jasmine Talise Cullins.
All right. And you still reside at Milton Road?
Yes, I do.
And how do you know Tracy Woods?
I know Tracy because that's the father of my child now, and he was my coworker before that.
All right. Well, you've heard what the prosecutor is seeking, a $4,000 surety bond and no contact with you. Do you have any comment about that?
I just want to say that that was the beginning of us like finding out if I was pregnant or not. So I didn't know if I was pregnant with my hormones, and on top of that, our baby is 2 months. I had him December 1st. So me and him was working things out with like being around the baby and like coming around and stuff. So I just wanted you to know that when it comes to the no contact. Yeah, that's it.
All right, thank you. Ms. Kim?
Yes, Your Honor. This happened on May 17, 2022. After that, they had no other incident like this. They have been living together. They have child together, Your Honor. And so we would like to request for no further violent contact because my client wants to continue the relationship. They are engaged. He is excited about the child, first child ever. So he wants to continuously be there to help out. Not only that, Miss Jasmine is actually taking a leave of absence from work. So my client is going to be sole, breadwinner for the whole family, Your Honor. He is HVAC technician. He works for refrigeration mainly. And he has associate degree from Forest College. And he is actually getting new job that starts this coming Monday, which has $6 hour higher than previous job. So please, he wants to make it to that job and start working to take care of the children. So we would like to request for signature on bond and also no further violent contact, Your Honor. Thank you.
Bond is going to be set at $5,000. It's going to be a signature bond through pretrial services. No further violent contact with Jasmine Collins. They can continue to live together as long as there's no physical or verbal altercation between the two of them. No illegal drugs, no alcohol, and no weapons and no firearms. So if he owns any weapons and firearms, they have to be surrendered to the local law enforcement, APD, or whichever is the closest police station, and surrender all firearms for destruction. He would have to be subject to random screens by pretrial for illegal drugs and alcohol, considering that he has an open felony drug case. Within 30 days, 30, of being released on the signature bond through pretrial, he will, of course, be reporting to pretrial once a month. Within 30 days, he must update the court with his current address, phone number, and email. And within 30 days, he must also report to pretrial that he has enrolled in a qualified domestic violence intervention program. That is a 24-week class program. And he must show proof that he's enrolled by his second visit to pretrial services. Failure to enroll in such a program will result in a revocation of his bond and convert it to a cash bond only. Mr. Woods will continue to attend those classes regularly. It is not a condition of sentencing. It's nothing to do with the sentence. It's a condition of bond as authorized in domestic violence cases. His next court date will be sent to the address that we have on file as long as he updates it. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Position 10, Wilburn.
This is Marquise Jarrell Wilburn, case number 23CR001034E. Mr. Wilburn is accused of battery from December 30th, 2020. With regards to this case, Mr. Wilburn, you have a right to remain silent, and your attorney is going to be Ms. Kim. Mr. Howard, any priors?
Yes. Hold on. All right, 15 total. Last arrest was about 4 days ago out of DeKalb County. Theft by taking, forgery in the first degree. 2022 out of Gwinnett, he had what I put in the chat for you. FTA for theft by deception and fleeing an officer. Another 2020 FTA, probation violation. 2019 failure to appear. Another 2019 failure to appear. He got more FTAs from 2019.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, he got a lot of FTAs. All right.
Mr. Rogers?
Yes, Your Honor. On December the 20th of 2020, Miss Maya McLaurin, yes, stated that she was at a house at a party at 349 Decatur Street in Atlanta when she ran into her ex-boyfriend, Mr. Marquise Wilburn, the defendant. She stated that he poured champagne on her, and then a group of females surrounded her, and then the defendant began punching her, leaving an abrasion on her forehead and her right foot. She was 3 months pregnant during the attack. We have spoken to Miss McLaurin. She did state that before the attack, she had not been with the defendant in a relationship for 5 years. He attacked her because he found out she was pregnant. So that's extremely troubling. She also states that he punched her in the face and kicked her in the stomach multiple times. She was bleeding from her stomach, and she sought medical attention and had to be monitored for 21 hours. So they made sure she didn't have a miscarriage. In addition to that, he came by her mother's house. We're going to be asking for a $10,000 surety bond. Stay away from the Miss McLaurin's mother's address of 1602 Ewing Farm Drive in Loganville, Georgia. No further contact with Miss McLaurin, no alcohol, drugs, or weapons. And
I'm sorry, that was Ewing something drive?
yes, Ewing, EWING, Farm Drive.
Farm
Yep.
Drive, Ewing Farm Drive.
Yes,
Okay,
in
and that's in
Loganville.
Loganville.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, nothing further. $10,000 surety bond. That's what we recommended. Nothing further, Your Honor.
Do you know if they share children or this is something totally unrelated?
They do not share children.
Okay,
He saw her at the party. He found out she was pregnant. She had not been in a relationship with the defendant for 5 years.
5 years. Mhm.
So for him to for him to do this is extremely troubling for him to rise to this.
Yeah. Please, everyone, remember these are allegations. These are not stipulations of fact, okay? All right, Ms. Kim, what is the defense's recommendation?
We would like to recommend for signature on bond, Your Honor. This was done 2020, and he has been in jail ever since from February 11, 2022 until today. Your Honor, the failure to appear, some of them, he could not be there because he was in jail, he was incarcerated, and he indeed has his first newborn baby while he was incarcerated, and he's eager to see the baby. Your Honor, he has not had any contact with Maya McLaurin, and he has no objection to stay away and have no further contact with her. He would like to just return home to see his first newborn baby, Your Honor. He is 36 years old. He was born and raised here in Georgia. I believe his father, Tyrone Wilburn, is here supporting him to get out of the jail. He didn't know anything about those things. We would like to request for a signature on bond. Thanks.
We ask that the court sounds for Ms. McLaurin.
Oh, will do. Mr. Tyrone Wilburn, if you want to add to these hearings, please unmute your screen.
Yeah, I'm 25. She's at 36.
Yeah, I got that. You're born in 97. I think she meant 26.
Oh, 26. My math is awesome. Sorry about that.
Mr. Wilburn, you're on mute. Mr. Tyrone Wilburn. And while we're waiting on Mr. Wilburn, is there a Maya McLaurin? No. All right.
My client's mother, Miss Tamara, is here as well.
All right, Ms. Tamara, if you would like to contribute to this proceedings, may I place you under oath?
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you solemnly swear and affirm the testimony you provide will be the truth to the best of your knowledge?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Difficult situation. You may put your hand down. Yeah, Marquise's history is not as stellar as we'd like to have one.
Yes, Your Honor. I would like to just add, I was at the incident that night when everything happened, and there Maya did hit him in the face as well. He did not just attempt to attack her.
Okay, let me just put it right out there. I'm not looking at the allegations of the actual incident. I have to consider bond. And bond means whether he is likely to return to court. And that's why I mentioned his history of failure to appear, because that does not reflect well on him. It's the other prong I have to consider is his likelihood to re-offend. And like I said, his criminal history record doesn't reflect well on him. So tell me why I should release him on a signature bond or a lowered bond, because the prosecution is asking for a $10,000 bond.
Yes, and that's pretty extreme, Your Honor. I bonded him in different counties. He will reside with me. My son is mental health. I would like to add that. So I've been trying to get that under control. I just want to get him home. He's been gone over a year, and I have some treatment plans in place, and I will see to it that he stays out of trouble and get him the proper treatment that he needs to help him be a father to his newborn baby. And if you could be lenient on those fees, I would appreciate it, being that I've had to do the other counties as well.
All right, thank you. Mr. Tyrone Wilburn, did you want to add anything to what Ms. Tamara said, or?
Yes, can you hear me, Judge?
Yes, but if you'd like to
I
put the
can't,
phone the other way around.
I'm having problem operating. I don't do none of this. I'm Tyrone Wilburn, his father, federal government 813116. And I've been here in the country. I'm usually overseas 365 days a year. I protect the integrity of the United States embassies and consulates around the globe. I've been taking care, I'm the grandfather of his, now she'll be 1 year old, March 14th. And my birthday is March 6th for over a year. I've been taking care of his co-parenting with his his daughter's mother for over almost a year now, and taking care of his 2 American Staffordshire Terrier. And me, I got hurt in London, so it's strange. I had to have my total knee replaced and my surgery on my back. So that's why I'm in the country, but I'm helping out. And there's been a lot of stress on me, all these lawyers and in this legal system. I'm not used to that. And I will make sure I'm in the country. He'll have no contact with Miss Maya. I know Maya too, but I was out the country when this all took place. I don't condone anyone touching any person in an unlawful way, violent way. But I don't know what happened. That's for figured out through the trial between those 2 individuals. But I asked you to please, we've been bonding him out at the Gwinnett. He's been in there a whole year for the fleeing and other charges, which some was frivolous, and I'll deal with that later. But this has been a whole stressful situation, especially on me for something like this. And I'll make sure, and I'm legal with system, and I know the government. I'm a real patriot. I've been kidnapped twice around the world. 2005, Sao Paulo, Brazil. 2014, Manoa, Chuck, Mauritania. So I'm a true patriot, and I still love my country to this day. Sometimes my country don't love me like I love my country, but still I protect, and I signed up for a contract, protect the integrity of my country. So I ask you to please let my son go in a lesser bond, and I will take care of that. I'll make sure he goes back to court as well.
All right, thank you, Mr. Wilburn. And notwithstanding, not even considering what's going on with your son, we truly do appreciate your service. And I wish he will.
Stop that.
I wish he will follow the same footpath that you have. Mr. Tyrone Wilburn, I'm going to ask you to mute your screen, please.
Also, Judge, I got another thing. You was telling me follow his path, and before they got him for that fleeing and looting, I already had him signed up to go to the government, but he had to put a hold on it. He already had the job with the government, but they couldn't run his background check because they ran his background check with that fleeing and looting. It's going to pop up the red flags.
That's true. Little things like that cause a hiccup in your path to employment. So
yeah, and he can't get the secret clearance because I have above top secret clearance with an SCI.
Understood, sir. Understood.
All right. Thank you, Judge.
Thank you. Mr. Wilburn, if you could please mute your screen. Mr. Markey Wilburn, I really do applaud your parents for being here both to support you. It is not a situation that I see very often, but I really do applaud them. But at the same time, I have to face the reality that you have not established a very stellar record or even a reasonable record for me to consider a signature bond. Your bond's going to be set at $1,500. It is a surety bond. You are to have no further contact with Maya McLaurin. You're to stay away from wherever she lives, wherever she works, which includes 1602 Ewing Farm Drive in Loganville, Georgia. No illegal drugs, no alcohol, and you're not allowed to possess any weapons or any firearms. If you happen to live in the same home with either your mother or your father, they both need to understand there cannot be any weapons or any firearms in that home. Even though both of you are legally deemed to own them, if Marquis Jarrell Wilburn lives with you, all firearms have to be removed from the home. Another condition of the bond is that within 60 days of being released on bond, he must undergo a MHET. And after that evaluation, he must submit himself to any treatment that's required. And this is based strictly on what Ms. Tamara has reported to the court. His next court date, if he doesn't bond out, his next court date is March 9th. Otherwise, within 30 days of being released on bond, he must update the court with his current mailing address, phone number, and email, so we can send out information as to when his next court date is. If he attempts to contact Maya McLaurin in any way, form, or manner, by phone, in person, through a third party, through a computer, or even on social media, all Ms. McLaurin has to do is report the matter to the Victim Advocates Division of the Solicitor General's office, and a warrant could be issued for his arrest for aggravated stalking, which is a felony charge. So it's very important that Mr. Marquis Wilburn understands that he needs to comply with the conditions of the bond. Thank you.
Right. Position 8, Smith.
Francois, is position 2 available? Cameron Braggs.
Position 2 is going to be a medical reset.
Okay. So that's going to be reset to 224. Okay. This is Mr. Sanchez Smith, case number 23 CR 001033E. Mr. Smith is accused of simple battery domestic violence from January 7th, 2023. I need to also let you know, Mr. Smith, that you have a bench warrant in another open case at Fulton County State Court, 20 CR 002966E. The bench warrant was issued by Judge Morrison. It's a $5,000 surety bond on that bench warrant. Meanwhile, Mr. Howard, anything else besides that other open case?
But the bench, 8 total, yeah. On probation, false imprisonment, 21 SC 178144. He got 2020 conviction. Oh yeah, that's the same thing. Kidnapping, theft by taking battery DV. Those are all convictions. I got a 2020 2 counts of simple battery out of DeKalb County. 2019 battery. 2018 simple battery. He pled NOLO out of DeKalb County.
Can I clarify if he still has a DeKalb hold? I'm not sure if it's an open case or a probation hold.
Yeah, I see a Decatur hold. Failure to appear warrant.
Okay, that's good. Thank you.
Yep.
Ms. Lewis?
Yes, Your Honor. This incident occurred on January 7th, 2023 at 973 Lawton Street Southwest. Brielle Smith, who is the sister of Mr. Sanchez Smith, reported an assault incident to APD regarding her brother. At the time of this incident, the two were living together. Smith stated that she and her brother were involved in a verbal argument, which escalated as words were exchanged. Smith stated that as the defendant was leaving the house, he turned around and spat in her face. Your Honor, we do want to make note that the warrant and the police report do differ, but we'd like to put the facts of that on the record as our office is investigating that. Ms. Smith stated that as the brother was outside, he fired one single round of gunfire in the air before his girlfriend pulled off in an unknown vehicle. Ms. Smith stated that her brother then returned several minutes later and fired another single round into the air before running back to the vehicle and driving away. Your Honor, for this reason, as well as this defendant's history, the state is recommending a $2,500 surety bond, no further contact, no alcohol, drugs, or weapons, to stay away from this location, and 1 day of anger awareness. Nothing further, Your Honor.
Okay. Mr. Smith, I'm going to hear from your attorney first, and then you think about whether you want to waive your right to remain silent, because anything you say could be used against you to incriminate your case and make it more difficult for your attorney to defend you. Ms. Kim?
Yes, Your Honor. I don't think his history is on the screen. And Anyway, they no longer live together, Your Honor. My client has a totally different address at 809 Magnolia Way. So he is completely okay with no further contact and stay away from his sister. Your Honor, this incident happened about 1.5 month ago. And my client, only reason that he has a bench warrant from that $5,000 surety bond, he was actually in Rice Street, Fulton County Jail. He didn't intend to have any kind of FTA. He was incarcerated from March 2020 to until 2022. So he could not go, and he was actually in Fulton County Jail, Your Honor. So we would like to ask you to consider that to be hopefully changed to signature on bond. Also, regarding he has been working at Panera Bread as a dishwasher and cleaner for the last 3 months, and he's been working very, very hard. He resides with his daughter, who is a minor, and the daughter really needs a father because there's nobody else who can take care of. And so we would like to request for a signature on bond or very low bond, maximum of $1,000, so he can return to work and his daughter. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Oh, bench warrant issued on February 22nd. No, let me see. Bench warrant. The defendant failed to appear for arraignment on June 10th, 2022. And the bench warrant was signed on June 16th, 2022. I'm not certain about Mr. Smith, but according to the booking screen I have, he was incarcerated on March 15th, 2020 and released on December 30th, 2021. So I'm not going to set aside the bench warrant. On this particular case, the bond is going to be set at $1,500. It's going to be a surety bond. No further contact with Brielle Smith to stay away at 973 Lawton Street in Atlanta, Georgia. His next court date is going to be March 9th, and we're going to address both the cases, this particular 23 CR case, as well as the 20 CR 002966E, the matter in which he's got a bench warrant. And if he does make bond, he can only be released to the DeKalb County hold. He won't be able to go down his own reconnaissance. All right. Mr.
Yes, Your Honor.
Smith, did you want to waive your right to remain silent or?
No, ma'am.
Okay, smart move. All right, thank you. All right,
Position
the
one,
next case, we have the breakout with position 1. So this is State versus Sierra Belton. Miss Belton, we will be with you shortly. Please remember you have a right to remain silent. Anything you say, your statements can and will be used against you. And your attorney is Miss Wanda Gant. Miss Grace, if you'd be so kind to put Miss Bridgewater, myself, Miss Wanda Gant, Miss Lewis, Miss Kim, and Miss Falk into a breakout room, please.
Okay, Judge.
Thank you.
While we're waiting to go in the breakout, who's doing that mental health order for me?
Which case?
Okay, I see Miss Kim says she was. Okay.
Okay. Yeah. All right. This is State versus Sierra Belton, case number 23 CR 00102HC. We've had a conference with the attorneys in a breakout, and pursuant to the conference, Ms. Belton, your bond is going to be set at $1,000 surety bond. Your case is going to be reset to the March 9th calendar at 11 a.m. You are to have no further violent contact with the Fulton County staff, including law enforcement. You are to stay away from 160 Prior Street, which is the Justice Center 3 building, unless you have verifiable official business to attend in court, such as having a notice of a hearing. Your next court date is March 9th, as I said, at 11 a.m. Thank you.
All right, we're completed here in court until Judge Law.
Thank you, Francois. We'll see you tomorrow. Take
All
care.
right, you too. Bye-bye.
All right, position number 1, as I just stated, is a $1,000 surety bond. Reset date is March 9th at 11 a.m. Position 2, Braggs, is a medical reset to tomorrow's C calendar, February 24th at 2 p.m. Position 3 is a 2,000 signature bond through pretrial, further notice. 4 is a 4,000 surety bond, reset March 9th. Position 5 is a $2,000 split bond, reset March 9th. Position 6 is a 1,500 signature bond through the jail. 7 is a $3,000 surety bond, reset date March 9th. Okay. Position 8 is a $1,500 surety bond, reset date March 9th, along with his other open case on which the bench warrant was issued. Position 9 is a 1,500 signature bond through pretrial for the notice. Position 10 is a 1,500 surety bond, reset March 9th. Position 11 is a 3,000 signature bond through pretrial for the notice. And position 12 is a $5,000 signature bond through pretrial for the notice. Any questions? We good? All right. Okay, everyone. Thank you very much. I will see you tomorrow. Take care.
Okay, bye-bye.